What's good, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Wednesday. It's 6 o'clock Kingdom time. You know what that means. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. I want to thank you all so much for joining us this evening, this AFC Divisional Round episode. If you haven't already, click that like or subscribe button. Go ahead and do that now. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. If you found your way here and you're watching, we'd love to have you send us some comments and questions. Be a part of the show. If you haven't also followed us on our social media platforms, you can find us at Chiefs Kingdom Live, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think maybe there's another one out there that I can't remember, but
I think we're on all the internets. I think we're good.
We're on all the internets. Yeah, for sure. But
the king of the internet now.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, it would mean a lot to us if you click that like or subscribe button and send us a comment. So we'd love to have you join the show here. We're coming off I'm not even say fairly dominant, an extremely dominant win over the Pittsburgh Steelers at Arrowhead Stadium.
Kicked their ass.
Had to break out the NFL record books after that game and make some changes. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also break down this huge game. I am so looking forward to this game coming Sunday night again against the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs coming to town. So should be just a good game. And I think the way the seeds are falling, that could be your AFC Championship game. But we'll get into that, some more of that as we get later into the show. Fellas, how are you guys doing on this Wednesday evening after another playoff victory in Chiefs Kingdom at Arrowhead Stadium? It's just, it's feast or famine, right? We've gone from the famine to the feast of the playoff victories here in the Kingdom. Bo?
Yeah, man, feels good. That's something that it just never get tired of hearing, that we won another playoff game after so many years of never hearing that. In fact, one of my Facebook posts, one of my memories from the other day was, "Oh my God, we won a playoff game. I should go buy some lottery tickets." That was not in the too far distant past there. So no, I'm still reeling. I love the way our team looked. A little rocky start, but man, we pulled it together and we looked unstoppable. So I feel great. Looking forward to this game, like you said, though. Yeah. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, when you look back over the last few years, it's almost hard to believe we went over 21 years without a playoff win. And when at home, we lost, however many consecutive games at Arrowhead. Scotty and I were there for half of those, I think. I'm just stoked to report that the Scott Nick duo lifetime now is in the plus column. We're now 4-3. Turn the franchise around, lifetime in the playoffs. So we were there, and a bunch of their Big Ben signs and their Antonio Brown jerseys and all that bullshit. And they were pretty loud for like the first quarter and a half, and then it's like all of a sudden it got real quiet, and we were turning around, we're like, oh, did those guys leave? And it's like, oh no, they're still there, but they're just watched us put up 21 points in like 3 seconds, and they're just realizing that there's like an avalanche coming down on their fucking head right now.
Yeah.
And they got real quiet real fast. So it was great, man. It was great. It was a good time. It was cold, but not super cold, especially once we got inside. It was colder in the parking lot than it felt in the stadium. And you just got to just treasure it while you have playoff wins, especially at home. It's just we went too long. We went like a generation without that. So yeah. God bless Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, all those dudes.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, Chris Jones, the Honey Badger, just, spoil of riches here. With the Chiefs these last few years. That I believe that memory you shared, Bo, would have been back to when that was the Houston Texans, the 30-0 shellacking we laid on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That was the drought breaker, and that's like when you go to a party, you break the seal, right? That's the saying. So, Maybe you'll catch that reference or not, but yeah, it's just so good. In that first quarter, we'll break that game down. I was finding myself getting a little frustrated that first quarter because if you watched the show last week where we previewed the wild card round, and even the picks episode that we did on Saturday, I was like, the only way the Steelers win this game is if they're +5 in the turnovers and they score a defensive or special teams touchdown and the Chiefs let them hang around early and give them hope. And it was just every single thing I talked about that we couldn't do. The only path that the Steelers might have had to a win, the Chiefs were following that script in that first 15 minutes. But then Patrick Mahomes went. I mean, he went beyond. I don't know, nuclear hot. I don't know what the hottest temperature recorded on Earth could be, but I mean, he went Chernobyl on him, man. He went scorched earth on the Steelers defense. The dude is he's unstoppable when he gets in the zone. And say what you want about the Steelers, we're not a playoff team, or they shouldn't have been in there. And you can talk all you want about 7 seeds are 0-4 lifetime now in the 2 seasons where they've introduced the 7th seed. But when you break records, there's been lots of bad playoff teams before, and nobody did what Patrick Mahomes did. So I'm not going to sit there and listen to people talk about it. Oh, well, the level of competition, or it was a 7th seed. The Steelers, they weren't good. They made the playoffs, and no one's ever done what he did before, even against crummy competition. There's been sub-500 teams in the playoffs before. I think the Seahawks might have made it with a 7-9 record, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
The Beastquake game, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear anything about it was the opponent driven. It's Patrick Mahomes driven. The guy was absolute beast. I think we got some records. Nick's got some slides here put up on the screen.
Yeah,
about Patrick Mahomes and just rewriting the record books for playoff games, for insane games to start a career. So this isn't a playoff record. This is just an NFL record all time. Most career games with 400 yards passing and 5 touchdown passes. Patrick Mahomes slides into first place with 4 such games and 72 starts. And then look at the rest of the names and the career starts that are on this. They're on your screen right now. Fellas, that almost doesn't even seem real.
Right. And I want to say that those other guys took all of those games to get that last one too, right? Like Montana didn't have his third one 72 games in and then go on and play another 110 games, right? Like I think that was like his 130th or 40th when he got that one. So I mean, like, yeah, what he's doing this young is beyond phenomenal. It's amazing.
And then we got the other new group of guys here.
The new Mahomes is
the better than Mahomes crew, as we like to call them. So
yeah, we got new Mahomes there. We got RB1 Lamar Jackson. We got the greatest quarterback of all time for the last week and a half, Josh Allen there, and Joe Burrow with 0 in 177 starts. So it's almost like you got to pinch yourself like you're dreaming or something. That's unbelievable.
Unreal.
Well, and Mahomes is only the second player to do that, one of those feats in a playoff game. I think Big Ben had the other one. So it's only, I mean, none of the guys on the sheet here ever did that in a postseason game. Those are all regular season games. So,
yeah.
Of course, when you're throwing the ball to a dude like Travis Kelce while we're here.
Right. We got some more records here. Most career postseason 100-yard receiving games. Travis moves past Julian Edelman somehow and Michael Irvin with 6 into sole possession of second place behind Jerry Rice, who there's lots of debate at who's the greatest of all time, who's the best quarterback, or who's the greatest running back, or who's the greatest tight end, or who's the greatest defensive end. there's no debate over who the greatest wide receiver of all time was. That's Jerry Rice. And the records and the production that the guy had playing, keep in mind, back when defense was actually allowed to play defense, there's no argument Jerry Rice is the greatest of all time at the wide receiver position. And you could make a good argument maybe he's the best player of all time just because of how dominant he was at his position at a time when it was more difficult to do what he has done than some of the guys that, are chasing him or have tried to, pass him for get those records. And I don't see George Kittle on there anywhere.
Yeah, here makes graphic.
Maybe he's on the most career postseason
blocks?
10 block games or something. I don't know, but I don't see the GOAT or All Pro Mark Andrews on there. So just ludicrous. The guy's the best. He's the best. He's easily the best tight end in the league right now, and has a strong case for the best ever tight end position. And I think when it's all said and done, you'll see that he will solidify himself as the best tight end of all time. Guys, just Travis Kelce, what stood out most about that performance from him to you, Nick?
That touchdown that he scored, the 48-yard touchdown on 3rd and 20,
right,
to go up, and really that's what put the game away at that point. You just know, the Steelers aren't coming back. They're not coming back from 14 down, not against this team. That situation, there's only 15 seconds left on the clock to get that far open and then tiptoe down the line and really pull away from defensive backs as a tight end,
right,
30 plus years old. I mean, it was you have to see it to believe it, right? Or believe it to see it, as Patrick Mahomes would say. It was incredible. I mean, just the dude's incredible. He threw a touchdown pass. His mom, went to both games. She was there to see that. I don't know if you guys saw the deal with that. And then she interviewed him in the post game. I mean, the guy, his character arc as a Chief is something really just to be awestruck with. He went from being the guy that, he was injured his rookie year to being the guy that was talented but troubled, and he had, problems with his anger. And now, to see him on this list, second only to Jerry Rice in 100-yard postseason games, it's nuts. You just can't make this stuff up, right? And I mean, he's the longest tenured Chief now. He's like he's a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. He didn't win. It's you just can't say enough good stuff about the guy. There just aren't enough superlatives about him. So, but we can.
What else is there to say? You know what I mean? You kind of said it all. The dude on that one play kind of just highlighted how good he is. Just from his route running ability to his awareness of what defense is being presented at the time, to finding that gap, and then just finding the right seams to, like Nick said, beating DBs. I mean, it just really shows you how amazing of a player that guy is. Not just tight end, but look at the guys on that list that Nick had on there. Jerry Rice, Larry Fitz. You know what I mean? You're talking upper echelon players in the entire NFL, not just tight end positions. I mean, dude's amazing. Dude's amazing. I mean,
yeah, that's top shelf company,
right?
That he's got right there.
And then that performance, I mean, he set so many records with that. I mean, he's the only player now to throw a touchdown pass, catch touchdown pass, and have 100 yards receiving.
Yeah,
second tight end in history to throw a touchdown pass in a postseason game. The dude just racking up accolade after accolade. Whoever's going to try to say that he's number 2 to anybody in this league they're going to have an uphill battle in front of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're either a 49ers fan or they're just a hater, right? I mean,
right,
or both. He also set a record. He has 4 straight 100-yard games in the postseason now. That's never been done before. You mentioned the touchdown pass, kind of sniped one of Patrick Mahomes' touchdown passes there. I was kind of hoping that Patrick would get 6 again, because if you
Right.
remember Patrick's first year as a starter, I think it was week 2. They went on the road to Pittsburgh and he threw 6 touchdowns on the or on the Steelers. I hate the Steelers. We talked about this. I don't need to get into it, but everything about them just
The Raiders of the East Coast.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And just their dumbass helmets with the logo on one side and their ugly ass stadium and their coach that trips people and dirty play. And yeah, I just can't see them. So it was great. Patrick Mahomes, 3-0 all time against Big Ben. You got to figure that's going to stay that way. Big Ben's last game.
How great was it to see Kelsey kind of run a little bit, or not? Excuse me, not Kelsey. Mahomes run a little bit, break off. You know what I mean? Like scramble. I think he did it 3 or 4 times, clear as day. Like great running opportunities.
Put his head down.
I mean, he went 30 for 39. So I mean, his aerial assault was damn near perfect. Like, how good of a game was it after starting off so shaky? I know you guys were there. Like, we're texting during the middle of it. Like, I was nervous as soon as he had that deflected interception. Just like Scott was mentioning, like this is how they're gonna win. Like, you know what I mean? Just fluke or turnovers.
Right.
Our offense isn't gonna get it done. Their defense or special teams might get something special, and that might end it for us. I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. How did you guys feel when that was all going down?
I didn't feel too good.
Yeah, not great, but here's the deal, and this is what makes Patrick Mahomes different than all the other dudes that are on that list and what everybody's talking about. He goes through those, doesn't lose his cool, keeps his team and himself collected, and he comes back and he does what he did in that game.
Yeah.
And he's done it in the wild card round. He's done it in the divisional round. He did it in the Super Bowl. He's come back from 2 scores down in the AFC Championship. So that's what makes that guy special, is that it doesn't matter. Like you think, like Jim Rome said it, you think you're playing your game, and then all of a sudden you realize you're playing their game, and now you're losing. Like, it's just that quick.
Yeah.
It's so yeah, it didn't feel great. And like I said, I mean, there's some annoying fans that were around us, just being really obnoxious, like probably the most obnoxious away fans I've ever heard at a Chiefs game. So it added to the frustration where you're like, dude, would you just shut up? Like, nobody cares about your junk ass team. You know, you guys are going to lose, so it was not a great way to start, but it's not how you start, right? It's how you finish. So
yeah, there may or may not be an Indianapolis Colts fan out there somewhere that I might have been more irritated with than the folks.
That was a fun game. It was worth that guy doing all that just to hear you tell him what you told him, and then him to shut up for the rest of the game.
Look, I've gone to away games. Away fans don't bother me. I think it makes for a good atmosphere. Nick, you and I went to the game. Was that last year, the Vikings game? There was a lot of Vikings fan there. It was loud when both teams had the ball. It was intense. They were respectful. They were cool. They weren't going out of their way to be obnoxious. There's a difference between cheering for your team and intentionally trying to be annoying.
And trying to ruin it for other people, right? I mean, that's the deal. It's like you're trying to ruin it for the other fans.
Yeah. But, so.
They were scoring right under you guys. That's got to be pretty cool, though, right? I know it's one thing to I witnessed this. I got to witness Mahomes play finally this year.
Yeah.
It is just different watching him make some of those throws in person. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're out in the parking lot, you're kind of throwing the football around, you're trying sidearms and no-look passes and all this stuff. But then you get out there and you watch him do it, and you're just like, oh, there's another level to this. Like, what was it like watching him kind of pick apart the Steelers this week?
It's just like it happened so quick. I mean, that was another record. 5 touchdown passes in under 11 or minutes.
It was like 10 and a half minutes.
Of game time, of actual clock time, which credit the defense for getting the ball back that quickly every time. Right. And they forced 7 punts in the first half. The defense did
7 straight punts.
We'll shift gears and talk about the defense because they deserve all their escalades, as Jamal Charles would say, for their in that game. But yeah, it hits you so fast, and you're sitting there, and he throws the touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, and you're thinking, is that number 5 already? Which was a beautiful passes. The Travis Kelce touchdown pass right there before the end of the half. He kind of scrambles around and slides out of the pocket, moves to his right, throws that ball, hits Kelce right in stride. He had a rusher coming at him on the Tyreek Hill. Just a beautiful touch pass, lofted it over, dropped it right in the bucket over Tyreek's shoulder in the corner of the end zone. If you watch the replay of the touchdown pass to McKinnon, TJ Watt kind of comes unblocked. Yeah. And Mahomes does like a little fake, like he's going to throw it out to, I think maybe it was Robinson or Gordon wasn't active, so I can't remember who the receiver was. And Watt bites on it, and he buys the fake, and that was just enough time. And it's almost like in one motion is the fake, and then he takes his arm around and throws it underhand to McKinnon. You just watch him, and you see him do things that nobody else does.
Right. But yeah, shifting gears to the defense, man, what a dominant performance. I kind of knew this coming in that they were going to do. I mean, they did it 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like I said, there was no reason for them to like have that be any different. There's no personnel changes, and they didn't play any caliber of team to get any better against us. But man, did our rush defense and just our pass rush look great.
Yeah, they were, you know, I mean, they didn't give up any points until the second half, right?
Right.
I mean, really, they only gave up points when it was kind of garbage time, and it didn't really matter at that point because the Chiefs were up 35-7 or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was. It was 35-7 before they got the touchdown.
So, the offense ran that stupid play where they
looks like
we lost Nick there.
Technical difficulties, but maybe.
Am I back yet?
Yeah, maybe you need to jump out and jump back in. You kind of sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Domo arigato, Mr. Lotta.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, anytime you force a team to punt 7 times in a game, you're doing pretty good. The Steelers had 7 punts, and there was a point I want to say at half or going into the half where the Steelers had negative yardage on third down. I want to say Jarrett McKinnon had more yards than the entire Steelers offense had.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were just doing what they wanted at will. We got Nick back here. Just talking about the 7 punts in the first half. I don't know if you could hear us while you were jumping out and jumping back in.
I could, yeah.
They had negative yardage on third down at one point in the game. The Steelers did that. Najee Harris, he was a 1,000-yard rusher this season, and he did nothing in that game. Maybe he was hurt. There's some people saying that maybe he was injured, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they went out there and shut him down. Nick, we'll get back to you, and you kind of finish your thoughts on the defense and what you saw out of them.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing a perfect game, right? So it's really, can they continue this against now a more quality opponent? Because we saw that they've been able to do this against lower tier teams, and they've been able to, hold them to, 7 points, 13 points throughout a whole game. And then we saw up against, the Bengals where we didn't look as good. And so, Buffalo is coming off of a perfect offensive performance where they scored a touchdown every time the offense had the ball, except for when they knelt it out. And so, kudos to the defense. They came prepared. They didn't get fooled on anything. They forced 3 and outs. They forced punts. They were aggressive. They got a turnover. They were pressuring the quarterback. They were getting Big Ben off of his mark, which is what you need at his age. He's really got to get his feet set to be able to throw the ball. And he missed some throws, and I think a lot of it had to do with pressure. What?
Yeah.
Laughing about him being a fathead?
No. He had a couple of like the worst throws I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I mean, he had some
the receiver turns around to the ball, and the ball's like, I don't know if they ran the wrong routes or like the ball landed like 10 yards away from where the receiver was. So yeah, he's washed, man. Yeah, he's 18 years in the league. I mean, come on, but
Hey man, Tom Brady's been doing it for like 100 years, and he's still good. So
Yeah, I don't know that Big Ben's on the same
diet,
supplement
man.
program that Tom Brady is, but we won't get into that. That's all
You,
speculation.
you know what Big Ben's nickname is, right?
Big Ben?
Captain Captain Fat Fuck, leader of men.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's that one too, I guess. But
So he definitely wasn't on the same avocado ice cream diet that Tom Brady's been on for the last 20 years.
right, Bo, the defense. What stood out to you? Just your overall thoughts about how they played against the Steelers.
Man, I thought they played smash mouth defense. They looked so incredibly good. Like I love it when we're playing that well because then they look like they're having fun and they're just everybody's flying around. The line, the linebackers, all the DBs, like you can just tell they're all smiling. You know what I mean? One thing that I really noticed that helped us out a lot was our discipline and our lack of penalties. Like that goes a mile, and especially for this team. Like I feel like that's been one of the things that we tend to shoot ourselves in the foot with was just bad penalties, whether it's lining up on like in the neutral zone or just some stupid holding or contact penalty. It was nice to see him limit that and not give up so many yards to penalties. But I mean, other than that, yeah, I mean, they had everything locked down, dude. Even when they would make a pass for 10, 12 yards, whoever was on coverage was right there making the tackle. That's what I really noticed. Is like they were
Right.
stuck to those receivers like glue. There wasn't a lot of bad missed tackles.
No,
I mean, you're going to get plays off that people are going to catch balls, they're going to get yards on you. But I was really impressed with the coverage, how tight they were to their man, and like I said, the tackles seemed to happen immediately without like I don't know some bad going for strips instead of a tackle. I mean, I thought the defense played damn near perfect. They did really good.
yeah. Charvarius Ward and L'Jarius Sneed had some just really textbook clutch open field tackles where if they don't make that tackle, it's a lot bigger gain. So yeah, the tackling was there. You mentioned the refereeing. I thought that was an evenly officiated game. They let both teams play.
Yeah.
There's a few incompletions where there was close coverage, but they let it go. And I was just waiting to see the flag come out. And you can see the Steelers players were doing to the ref after the play, and they didn't let him bait him into making a bad call. Both teams played. The Chiefs made some penalties on offense, some false starts, which you hate to see at home. But yeah, overall, just a really clean game from both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see. You know what I mean? Like it helps my blood pressure during a game when the refs aren't playing.
Right. The kind of, and I don't want to harp on it too much because he is a backup, but Mike Hughes kind of got burned on a few plays there. You might have been seeing like a 48 or a 41-7 game if he doesn't get torched. There's a couple plays where I want to say Deontay Johnson burned him pretty bad for a touchdown. But those guys are pros, and they're getting paid to make plays too. And right. Deontay Johnson, if he could get the drop thing figured out, he's a legit receiver, dude. I like Deontay Johnson. He's fast. He can get open. But, yeah, outside of a couple of procedural penalties on the Chiefs' offense and, a backup getting burned by one of, I'll call Deontay Johnson one of the better wide receivers in the game. When he's not dropping the ball, I guess that is. Yeah, just solid performance. Going back to the offense, Jarrett McKinnon, dude balled out.
Yeah, dude had a game.
He provided spark at the running back position that we've been waiting for all year. At least I've been waiting for all year. He was getting to the edge. He was getting to the corner. He was getting around the corner. He was like the anti-Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? I mean, you saw plays where he got more yards than it looked like he was going to be able to get than less than he should have.
Right.
Did you guys see that too out of him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would just get to the second level consistently, right? It wasn't the first level always stopping him every single time. He was getting to the next player, even the third level. I mean, very noticeable. Very noticeable.
I mean, he's fast. He just looked fast. Like Scott called it. He just looked fast. He looked hungry, and he's not the biggest guy, right? He wasn't just smashing through people. He's elusive, and he was really doing a great job of following blocks, finding those openings and hitting the hole as quickly when it opened up. So that was it was refreshing to see. I mean,
he wasn't getting caught from behind
yeah,
on runs. He was getting through the hole and making cutbacks and kind of juking and making the first guy miss and turning maybe a 2 or 3 yard run into a 7, 8. I want to say he averaged almost 6 yards a carry and averaged 10 or 11 yards of completion, something like that. Scored the touchdown. Had a couple big plays. I want to say there was a third down where he got a first down, got to the edge, kept a drive alive. I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a full participant in practice today. You don't know where Darrell Williams is. They said after the game he came out and did not look good early. He had the fumble. He didn't look like he had any explosiveness, and they even said after the game that the toe injury that he's dealing with, he wasn't able to push off and really do the things he was wanting to do. So Jerick McKinnon came in, and I don't know about you two. I'd like to hear what you think about it, but to me, you got to ride the hot hand.
Oh yeah.
I want to see him get the lion's share of the carries against the Bills. And he put something on tape that the Bills hadn't seen. Another weapon they got to worry about. So, yeah, I mean, Jerick McKinnon, kudos to that guy. Hats off to him on an amazing performance. What do you guys think? Was that real? Was that something we can expect? Would you start him next week? Or I should say this week against Buffalo? Nick, what do you think, Jerick McKinnon?
I mean, I don't see a lot of downside in trying to get him going and see how he does against the Bills' run defense. The worst case, you sub him out for Gore or Williams or CEH, depending on their availability. But the guy earned it. I mean, he did that, and he did that in a playoff game, right? With all the pressure in the world on his shoulders. And kudos to that guy, right? Like, he was with Minnesota, and then he got a payday to go to the 49ers. It didn't go well. I think he struggled with some knee injuries. The dudes kept fighting, and now he's, secured a roster spot, right? He was like a bubble guy during the preseason. You didn't know, like, was he going to be on the team? Was he not going to be on the team? And obviously he's done what he needed to do to stay on the team and to get some reps. And now that he's out there and he's healthy, he's shown what he can do. And I mean, how can you look at what that guy did and not play him, right? Not give him the lion's share of the carries. I don't see a world where that makes sense unless you're just going to say, look, CEH is healthy and he's the starter and we're not going to replace somebody in the postseason due to injury. But I don't know. I mean, winning's the only thing that really matters, right? Everybody gets a ring if they win, regardless of who gets the most carries. So we got to go with the guy that is giving us the most production. Bo?
Yeah, man. What I really liked about his performance this week is that it gave us that running back look. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've been looking for it all year, where you can hand it to one solid guy. Defense has got to play what he's going to do. Otherwise, they're going to eat up 10 yards, right? And what did that do? That opened up Travis Kelce, opened up Hill. Both those guys tore it up, right? I mean, like, that's like the one thing I think that we're missing is that solid running back threat. And that's what he offered this week. And I like you guys both said, I don't see any reason why you would sit that down, man. Like, we've seen it even in the couple games that he has played earlier in the year. Like, this is what I've seen him do. I've seen him truck people. I've seen him get those extra 10 yards. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I've seen him do. And I've said it all year. I don't know what the coaches have to see in practice that they're not starting him, but what we see in the games, like, he should have gotten the start a while ago, in my opinion. But good for him, man. He tore it up, absolutely killed it. I'd like to see him start.
That's a great point about the passing game, Bo. I mean, it really did get some of those deep routes opened up, and you saw Patrick just went nuts as soon as it was available, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to say that I think Jerick McKinnon is the same type of player as Kareem Hunt, but that looked like the offense when we had Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
catching the ball out of the backfield, getting big plays, screen passes, getting big runs, converting big third downs. And was it the Broncos game where he had the play where he juked the two guys at the goal line, scored a big touchdown? There was a play, I want to say, earlier in the season in the Eagles game where he juked somebody and then ran somebody over on the sideline. They got a first down that kept a scoring drive alive. he dealt with injuries in the middle of the season. Maybe that's part of the reason he hasn't gotten more. But I just hope the Chiefs don't. Clyde Edwards is at that first round draft pick, and that's always going to be attached to his name. And
Yeah.
I hope they aren't looking at that thinking, well, this is our first round pick, and this guy is somebody we just signed off the street. I'm trying to remember. I'd like to give credit to who tweeted it out. I can't recall now. But they said Jarek McKinnon in that game had 5 or 6 carries of 11 yards or 12 yards or more. And he's had like 50 carries as a Chief, and Clyde Edwards has had 100 something and had 9. Like,
It's unreal.
The dude balled out. He by far had the best game of any running back the Chiefs have had this season.
Yeah.
Any games I'm missing that you guys can think of?
No, I mean, as far as like complete start to finish, like, yeah, that was a solid running game by him. Yeah.
Yeah. Darrell Williams maybe had a big game now that I'm thinking about it more against the Raiders, but I don't know that it was better. And it's the Raiders too, so
it wasn't a playoff game.
It wasn't a playoff game.
You know,
and it wasn't Clyde Edwards-Helaire either. I haven't seen Clyde have a game like that all season. He might have 100-yard game in there where maybe the Eagles game where they fed him a bunch against a bad run defense. But, yeah, definitely want to see more of him moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, 5:30 Sunday night at Arrowhead Stadium, the Chiefs will take on the Buffalo Bills, winners of the AFC East. They're coming off, you could say, just as impressive wild card victory over the Patriots. I wasn't big on the Patriots. They feasted and got some wins playing a third-place schedule. They struggled down the stretch. Their defense does not look good. I don't know who number 9, their linebacker, is, but he's like one of the slowest linebackers I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I tweeted it out. And there was guys that were just – that dude looked like he was a slow – he had angles and was still getting beat by Josh Allen and Devin Singletary, man. Like, how does that guy find the field in a Bill Belichick defense? I couldn't believe it. But the Patriots, to me, they were a 6 seed. They were – like I said, they beat up. They had a long winning streak in the middle of the season where they were playing some inferior opponents. So I'm not going to get too hyped like the national media and a lot of people you're seeing on social media are about Josh Allen and the Bills. Should be a hell of a game. And I said at the beginning of the show, to me, this almost, you could say, is your AFC Championship game. Maybe that's being disrespectful to the Titans, who are the 1 seed and didn't play last week, so they didn't have a chance to show out like the Bills and the Chiefs. The Bengals, they needed to hold on at the end against a Raiders team that, I mean, my God, what are you doing on 1st and goal if you're the Raiders spiking the ball? You have plenty of time.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen, man. Well, not that I've ever seen, but it was right up there. Like they had plenty of time. They didn't need to do that.
No, because the incompletion where Derek Carr, I guess their 4th down play is to throw it into double coverage short of the end zone on 4th and goal with the season on the line. I don't know. That's one of the most Raider things I've ever seen in my entire life.
They're used to doing that against the Chiefs, and then they get a penalty in that 1st down. That's why.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 8th and goal, whatever that game was. But
right.
The Bengals get a touchdown on a play where there was an inadvertent whistle that should have stopped the play. They win by a touchdown. Oh, and by the way, the Raiders raided at the end and had a chance to tie it and push it to overtime. I'm not sold on the Bengals. And so that game would be interesting to see who comes out of that. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're hoping for the Bengals because that means the AFC Championship game would be at home with a win over the Bills.
That Raiders team that we beat 48-9?
Yeah, I want to say even more than that. Like the first game, we beat them by a bunch too. I mean, I think we beat them like the Raiders. I think we beat them by a combined score of like 89-18 or something over the course of 2 games. They just abused the Raiders this season. So Bengals I think they're one of those teams where maybe you see them and they're on their way up, but they're not quite there yet. They haven't quite arrived. outside of 50-50 balls to Jamar Chase, I don't know what their offense really has.
Right.
And maybe Burrow, he didn't really look like he was injured.
Dude, they have the mother of all aces up their sleeve, though. Somehow, the Bengals have the refs on their team. I don't know how they did it, but they proved me wrong. Look at the past 2 weeks and tell me the refs aren't playing for that team.
Well, Spags called him the new Tom Brady. What's more Tom Brady than getting a crazy ref call that helps you win a playoff game against the Raiders? I mean, this is like the most Tom Brady shit ever.
Right. I saw a funny meme. It was like, of course, right, the Raiders are going to start complaining about this new rule. There was the tuck rule 20 years ago. Now it's going to be the whistle rule now.
I'd be more mad about it if it didn't, like, fuck over the Raiders. But even then, I was still like, dude, this ain't right. It's just not right, you know?
No. Looks like we got 7 or 8 people watching. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, how you feel about this game. Did you guys get the Kingdom Cat or the Kingdom Cast? It's the old name. Chiefs Kingdom Live poll.
I didn't.
About how we were feeling. I had real confident, not so kind of sketchy and scared or fretting. And the big majority of Chiefs Kingdom that participated in the poll were like as confident as you could be was the leader. I made a joke on Twitter. It seems like Chiefs Kingdom, at least on that app, are more confident about this game against the Bills than they were about the Steelers game somehow.
It's crazy.
Weird, but yeah, if you're watching and you can send a comment, I'd like to know what you feel or how what you're thinking about this Bills game. Bo, what are your thoughts about Sunday against Buffalo and Josh Allen?
I'm excited to play them. Get a little redemption from earlier in the year, but they look good, dude. Like I'm not as confident in this game, but I'm still confident in the Chiefs that they're going to come out and perform well. But I don't think it's going to be quite the blowout that we're witnessing. Thinking back to the last game that we played, man, I feel like we have a completely different defense. Our offense is finally clicking. So I mean, they're going to be playing a different Chiefs than what they did before. And then also, if there's anything I'm worried about Josh Allen running on us, man. I feel like that's almost our like Achilles heel a little bit. Like mobile quarterbacks can get yardage on us, and that's what I'm a little worried about. But I mean, if you're ready for it and you know that that's what they're gonna do, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't come out on top. How you feeling about this game, Nick? You worried about it?
Oh, we got a comment from Elaine here. The Bills are up and down. Great one game, not the next. I'm not worried. I mean, I think that's a great observation, right? They beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and then they kind of fell off the map to the point where, we were talking later in the season, like, are they going to make the playoffs? And Scott was like, I'm not ready to throw dirt on them, I think is what Scott had said. And now all of a sudden the national media, it's like they're the greatest team that ever picked up football. I mean, because they did that to a Bill Belichick defense and a rookie quarterback. I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic about this game, but I always tend to be nervous. And I don't know if it's just like, past trauma of like Chiefs in the playoffs. But I think that Josh Allen's one of those guys when he starts like having a bad game, he doesn't pull out of it. He leans into it. Yeah. And so it's going to be up to the defense. Can they get that dude off of his mark, get him missing throws, get him frustrated? Because that, I think, is the difference. If they get in like a solid groove and we get into a shootout, it's gonna be a tough game. Mm-hmm. However, we've got fucking Patrick Mahomes and they don't.
Right.
We've got Super Bowl experience, and anybody that wants to sit there and act like this is the game that's going to decide who the better quarterback is, like, please just go and delete whatever account you have for whatever social media platform and go do something else with your life. Because Patrick Mahomes has been to 3 straight AFC championship games and 2 straight Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. Like, this game does not decide jack shit when it comes to that. So, like, it's just not even comparable, right? Like, he's a great quarterback. He's had, a couple of pretty good seasons, but let's not act like in the pantheon of the greatness of all time that Josh Allen's name has been inscribed in that hall when it hasn't yet. I mean, he hasn't accomplished anything. He hasn't even gone to a Super Bowl yet. So I think the Bills are probably going to come into this flying high, maybe a little overconfident. We kicked these guys' ass at Arrowhead last time we were here, and we just beat up on, the Patriots, and we put that to bed, and these guys beat us last year. So I'm hoping that the Chiefs just punch them square in the mouth and send them back to Buffalo, and where they can live out the rest of their cold winter, in misery. So that's how I feel about it. Scotty?
The Bills are a good team, but it seems like there's this narrative out there that they're clearly the better team than the Chiefs. Chiefs had a better record. I know they lost to the Bills back in Week 5, but Chiefs didn't have Chris Jones.
No Melvin Ingram.
Chiefs didn't have Chris Jones in that game. They didn't have Charvarius Ward in that game. They were still playing Dan Sorensen in coverage in that game. He played 100% of the snaps. They didn't have Juan Thornhill in there. They didn't have Melvin Ingram at that point. I want to say Willie Gay was dealing with a foot injury. He wasn't 100% in that game. This isn't the same team. They've got their swagger back. I want to say the Chiefs lost that turnover battle in that game by like 3 or 4. They had a tipped pass for a pick 6. We got Cowboy Suck in here. I love that name.
Love that name.
I want Spags to blitz Gay. That was Bucks blitz Devin White. Yeah, no, I'd like to see that too. Spags is going to blitz and bring the heat. That's his MO. That's what he does. Even on 3rd and 27 against the Bengals, where all you have to do is not give up a touchdown. But anyway,
I digress.
Yeah, I digress there a little bit. This is not the same team that they played. And even with all that going against the Chiefs, Josh Allen threw a terrible interception that would have given the Chiefs the ball down 11 with plenty of time to make a comeback, and got bailed out by one of the weakest roughing the passer calls I've ever seen. Frank Clark didn't even drive him into the ground, didn't land on him with all his body weight, didn't hit him low. It was not a penalty whatsoever. So all those things had to go the Bills' way for them to win. You look at the Chiefs' schedule. What's the Chiefs' worst loss? What's the worst loss in the season for the Chiefs?
Tennessee.
You mean
worse, like the Ravens maybe, but they have Lamar Jackson, and that was at the beginning of the season before they were riddled with injuries.
Ravens or Chargers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean Chargers were up until 3 seconds left to go, and a playoff team.
Dude, this comment right here just triggered me. Like, I couldn't agree more. Like, how much that guy gets away with pushing off his coverage. Dude, it's so unreal.
He's sneaky about it because what he does is he does it with one arm. So it's not like he's like shoving the guy away and then turn. He like does it like with the guy's momentum. He does it kind of slowly with one hand, and like he's very sneaky about the way he does it. But he pushes off all the time.
But even the announcers call it out. They're like, "Oh, he has late hands." Because what are his hands doing until the ball gets there? Pushing off his defender, dude. And then, then the ball's there. Like, of course his hands are going to be late when you're pushing that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, he's right on there. And you got to think at some point they're going to start cracking down on that with him.
For sure.
But, I mean, I just like the Chiefs' worst loss. The Bills lost to the Jets. The Bills lost to the Jags.
Yeah.
The Bills lost to the Steelers at home. Where's that loss for the Chiefs? Where's that performance for the Chiefs? The Chiefs, they played, I think I want to say the toughest or one of the top 2 or 3 toughest schedules in the NFL this year.
Right.
They're 2 seed. They're getting this game at home because they had a better record than the Bills. Patrick Mahomes, Knicks guy Chris Sims tweeted out something about, I guess he's been hanging out with Mike Florio too much, saying that Mahomes has been amazing, but the last 2 years, Josh Allen has been the better quarterback. And there was people just eating him, crushing him in the comments. Like every every passing statistic for the last 2 years that matters, Mahomes was better than Josh Allen. He's better. That's not to
Florio is
say
also the only guy to pick the Steelers this week on national TV.
right. Yeah, Mike Florio. So yeah, Chris Sims might want to stop hanging out with him. But they just I don't see a loss on the Chiefs' record this year like the Bills have had. I don't see a performance by Patrick Mahomes like some of the poor performances by Josh Allen. The Chiefs are at home. I want to say I remember Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes maybe saying they were embarrassed by that loss against the Bills earlier in the season. So, that's stuck in their craw. I mean, Mahomes does the counting thing, and those guys pay attention to the media. You saw it with their playoff hype video was talking about the noise. It's hard to ignore, but we're going to make they're able to play the disrespected card amazingly as the 2-time defending AFC champions.
Right.
I'd like to get real fans comment back up there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was kind of in the middle of a thought while it popped up, but we got real fans in here. Worried about offense. Bills secondary, physical and underrated. That's true. That's a good point. They've got, I want to say it was the number 1 scoring defense, the Bills do in the NFL this year. But they also played against the Jets and the Dolphins and the Jags and some not so great teams. The Chiefs, they didn't have like a cake schedule. And you look at the defensive turnaround by the Chiefs. If you took out those first 6 or 7 games, I would put the Chiefs' defense up there with the Bills, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, Bills got Micah Hyde, who's a good safety, but we got Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know if the Bills have a defensive lineman the caliber of Chris Jones. Frank Clark is a playoff monster.
Right.
So I'm not trying to say that the Bills aren't a good team, but this idea that they're clearly the better team, they're just going to beat the Chiefs, that's just not right.
Yeah, it's prisoner of the moment is the way I feel about that.
Yeah,
I mean, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were just. Are they going to make the postseason at all? They weren't even leading their division, and they kudos to them. They got themselves in this spot, but I mean, there's a reason that they're playing in Arrowhead and we're not playing in Buffalo, right? It's because the Chiefs with a harder schedule had a better record.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes had more passing yards, more passing touchdowns, less interceptions, and we won more games with a harder schedule. So, true, we've lost to everybody that's remaining, but I mean, it's hard to beat a team twice, especially a Super Bowl caliber team. So, I mean, I think that some of these we were due for losses to a couple of these teams, just because I mean, you're not going to beat Josh Allen 10 times in a row. I mean, they're too good of a team, right? I'm not saying that they suck, but Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and I know they missed the playoffs because Lamar Jackson got hurt, but like you're not going to beat that guy 8 times or 10 times in a row. I mean, it ain't going to happen in the NFL. It doesn't even matter. The Patriots can't even beat the freaking Dolphins twice a year,
right?
Let alone playing those guys over and over and over again. So I just feel like we've got the guys with the experience. I feel like we've got the better players. I mean, I like, would you trade Travis Kelce for any player on the Bills?
No.
Would you trade Tyreek Hill for any player on the Bills?
No.
Are they going to play in the game? We got both of those guys, right? Would you trade Patrick Mahomes for Josh Allen?
Nope.
Straight up? Nobody's going to do that. So, I mean, I am, concerned about their defense because they did have the, number 1 rated defense, I think, in yards allowed and points allowed. So the Chiefs offense is going to have their work cut out for them, but they're up to the challenge. I mean, Patrick said it best.
Right.
He's like, I'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere. I don't care.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Darwin Thompson, I don't care. We'll play out in front of Walgreens. It don't matter. Let's go. Like, I was disappointed he was inactive.
Right.
Cowboys suck back here with the and who do Bills have at corner? Because I can't name any. Oh yeah, they got Tre'Davious White, who
I thought he was hurt. Is he playing?
Oh, I don't know if he's hurt or not. I mean, I know he's on there, but Tyreek Hill taking care of him. Real fans is back in here. Chiefs offense stall equates to our defense staying out there more than they should, which of our offensive weapons we're missing in week 5. I don't know that really any of the offensive weapons were missing. It was just that Tyreek Hill had a drop that turned into a pick six, and the Chiefs were driving down the field, looking like maybe they were going to score. I want to say they were like the 10 or the 15-yard line. Bill's defensive lineman makes a freaky play where he jumps up in there and tips the ball, and it flutters around the air and comes straight down to him for an interception. That was when the Chiefs were shooting themselves in the foot with the turnovers and the dumb penalties.
Like we didn't have anybody missing per se, but they were all missing in action. You know what I mean? That arguably or easily wasn't the same offense that we have this week. You know, like completely two different things.
Yeah, we got Kevin Stefanski.
I know
tonight. You guys lucky this season. Yeah. Hey, Kevin, we'd love to have you on the show sometime. So just hit us up on Twitter, DM us. I'll follow you. That's a good point by real fans, though. The Chiefs, the offense can't come out, I don't think, and do what they did against the Steelers and not move the ball and not put up any points for an entire quarter like they did in the first quarter of that game. You don't want to give the Bills
can't do that.
You don't want to try to dig out. I know Patrick Mahomes has been the magician in pulling the rabbit out of the hat in some of these playoff comebacks, but eventually that hat runs out of rabbits. And so you would rather them not doing that. That's a good point. We got Cowboys sucking there. If I'm Andy, I start Jarrett. Yeah, we talked about that a little before.
Definitely.
Maybe joined in. Cowboys suck, but yeah, no, he had the best game by a running back outside of maybe one game by Darrell Williams against the Raiders of any Chiefs running back this season.
Yeah, completely.
So that adds a new dynamic that the Bills
could be our Darrell Williams this year.
This comment.
Dude, Kevin Stefanski's back in the house. He's at home watching the playoffs on TV like us, so I guess he's got time to comment on YouTube. But yeah, I'd still love to have him on the show, talk some football with him. So, grade my play calling, Kevin Stefanski. I don't know, man. You were in the AFC North with a down Pittsburgh and down Ravens team and still couldn't win that division or make the playoffs, which I was kind of disappointed with by Browns, obviously. But we're glad to have Kevin on the show. It's all in good fun, man. We like a little banter, a little back and forth. That's all good. We can hold our own. We can dish it out. We can take it, right, fellas?
Oh yeah. I mean, you haven't made it until you have trolls. So.
Yeah, and what's his face said, Cat Williams, you need haters. You should be grateful. You should be thankful you got haters. So,
hey, man, I appreciate the time and effort that went into creating that YouTube account just so you could do that. That's
maybe that's someone we know too. That could be someone we know messing with us. So if we know you, that's great. I love that. That's killer. That's a lot of fun for sure. So I bet that's someone we know, and they're messing around having a good time. But we appreciate everybody watching in and commenting. Bo, I don't think you got a chance to really speak to this Bills game that much. What are your keys? How are you feeling? What do you think?
Oh yeah, your camera was messing up a little bit, but no, like I was saying, I feel like we have a completely retooled defense than we did week 5. You know what I mean? And then, like I was saying earlier, this offense is just a completely different offense. We're firing on all cylinders. All the little guys are coming up, making great plays. It's just yeah.
10 viewers, baby.
This dude's killing me, man.
But yeah, dude, the only thing I was telling Nick that I'm worried about, man, is Josh Allen's mobility. That kind of seems to be our little Achilles heel a little bit. Like for some reason that will get us in trouble real quick. So as long as we were able to game plan for it, I'm not too worried about it. But yeah.
Yeah, and we've played 3 games against the Bills with Josh Allen. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
2 last year. Chiefs won both those contests. And then played him a 3rd time this year. And he ran on us a little bit more. But like you said, the defense, they kind of got their swagger back and got some guys healthy since that point. I feel like the Chiefs defense can shut him down a little bit, though. You saw it in the AFC Championship game last year. You saw it in the first matchup of the regular season. and they've been able to do this against Lamar Jackson too, for a pretty fair sample size. Just don't let him beat you with your legs. Make him beat you by throwing the ball. Make him out-duel Patrick Mahomes by airing it out. Cowboys sucks back in here. Chiefs might have 4+ sacks this game because Allen tries to throw the ball deep too much and holds on to the ball. Yeah, he does. He's a pretty big, strong guy, though. He can be hard to bring down. He can kind of get out of the grasp, and he's not scared to tuck and run. But at the same time, you saw what happened to Lamar Jackson. It finally happened this year. All the running caught up with him, and he was watching the end of the season at home.
Right.
So, I don't know. Looks like we got Paul Vogel in the house.
What's up, Paul?
Live. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
What up, Paul? I'd like to know how Paul's feeling about this game Sunday against the Bills. I'm just not that worried about it. I feel like the teams are close. I feel it'll be a good game, but I give the quarterback edge to the Chiefs. I give the overall roster talent edge to the Chiefs. I give the coaching edge to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are playing at home. Experience edge too. You can add that in there.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have done it.
Yeah, Chiefs have had 22 people that have played in the Super Bowl, and the Bills have like 4, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
Nice.
What?
I just said nice. I didn't know that was the numbers right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nice pull, Nick, for sure.
Well, Scott, the fact that you're not nervous kind of makes me a little nervous, you know.
I'm not nervous about the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes anymore. I'm not.
Yeah. It's theirs to lose, right? I mean, they've got the better team, better coach, and they're at home, and the better quarterback. So it's theirs to lose. You know, I'm not saying they'll definitely win, but I mean, if they play this game, 10 times, like I would say the Chiefs probably win 7 of them.
Right.
Yeah,
and I want to say that Bills defense, the ranked, like you mentioned, first in yards per play given up and points allowed, but they had some games where they shut out like the Dolphins at the beginning of the year when Tua was hurt and they were trotting out. I can't even remember the fucking guy's name. And the Texans,
the
Jags, they lost that game 9-3 or some shit. Like, I'm not as sold on them maybe as everybody else. So it's gonna be a good game though. I'm looking forward to being out there. We'll try to be tailgating and lot in again. So if you are gonna be out at the game, yeah, Bo, you can get out here, man.
Hey, man, just hop on a plane.
Yeah. All right, I'll look into it. See what I can do.
We'll figure out a way to get you a ticket. We'll get you in the game. So
you're independently wealthy. You can do it.
Yeah, man, guy travels all over the country.
Oh.
I mean,
He's like, I jet here, I jet there,
Yeah. Anything else about this Bills matchup we've overlooked, we haven't talked about that you guys want to get to, or
Sunday night, right? Prime time again?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's 5:30 start, not 7.
Yeah.
It's a little bit earlier.
So if
the supposed to be not decent weather again, which is nice.
If the Chiefs win, what do you put the odds are that the AFC Championship comes back to Arrowhead?
That would mean Tennessee has to lose, right?
Yeah.
I don't see Tennessee losing, man. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like, unless the refs come to play for Cincy. Like, Tennessee, dude, they're getting Derrick Henry back. They got A.J. Brown. They got Julio. I mean, they got their full roster back. I mean, talk about a dangerous team looking even scarier. Like, that's them right now. Like, I don't see them having any trouble with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Cincinnati has a better quarterback, though. I mean, I'd take Joe Burrow over Ryan Tannehill. So I don't know. Titans will be rested up. There's that hole. Is it rest or is it rust? Maybe they come out flat. I don't.
Oh, we got
real fans back in here. If Clyde plays, it'll waste our possessions. # hot takes.
It's not that hot of a take. That's pretty true.
Human snail.
I'd probably # facts with that or # truth or something. But I don't want to sit here and turn, like I said, bash Class CEH show or anything like that.
It's not even that. It's just like, how good of a game did Jared McKinnon just have to where, like, how can you ignore that? You can't ignore that. It was too good of a game.
Ride with the hot hand, too. So, I don't know. You're talking about Bengals, Titans. I give the Bengals 40% chance to win that game, maybe 45, somewhere in there. So, got Cowboys suck back in. Bengals got 14 players on offense and defense. How are they going to lose? There's some truth to that.
Past 2 weeks.
There's some truth to that. That play where they blew the whistle early and still gave him the touchdown was fucking crazy.
Unreal.
A low point in a season of low points for the refs, right?
Right.
I mean, you can see the dude quit. I mean, look, I think it's going to be a touchdown if they don't blow the whistle, right? But you could see the defender quit in the middle of the play before the guy catches the ball because he hears the whistle.
Yeah. You can see most people let up.
Right, yeah. Well, even after the dude caught the ball, he's looking around like, I mean, he wasn't like, I just scored a touchdown in a playoff game. I mean, he was like, oh, that doesn't count.
I think he would have caught it anyway. But still, it shouldn't have counted because the play was blown dead. That doesn't matter if you think he would have caught it anyway or not.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Taylor would have looked so good running behind this line, shaking my head. Dude, like,
in my mouth
there's going to be people accusing me of this being my burner account, Cowboys.
I know, right?
Like, this dude, are you going to be at the game? CS? I'll buy you a beer. I'll get you a burger, a dog, or something, man. Come find me. Like, I can hang with this guy for sure. Yeah, dude, I don't even want to talk about Jonathan Taylor in this offense. Him and DK Metcalf, bro. Could you imagine if DK? I know DK had it off here this year, but
yeah,
the Seahawks were kind of a dumpster fire, and Russell Wilson was hurt, and they had the Geno Smith experiment. Yeah, that's crazy. But looks like that Cowboys suck. He's going to be in the game, dude. Check the Twitter. If you're going to be there early, man, we'll post where we're going to be tailgating. Swing by, say what's up. We usually park and lot in or O over on that side of the stadium for sure, but. Yeah, I just cheated. You know, the Bills thing, all the Chiefs do is win playoff games. We got Doug in the comments. That call in a postseason game is so bad. The NFL statement after the game on the whistle was as bad as the call on the field.
It really was.
Yeah, they were like, well, they determined that the whistle was after the play was over.
Dude, to make matters worse, they bring on the TV ref.
Like,
they bring on the TV ref right as it happens. They're like, oh, yeah, the officiating crew got this wrong. They need to correct it. And then, like you're just adding fuel to that fire already.
Yeah, there was no acknowledgement of this was the wrong call, right? In that statement at all. They just said, oh, well, they got together and said it was after he caught the pass, so that's what happened. I mean, and they even made a point of saying, we're going to release a statement about this during the – sorry, my wife is running around here. No, it's fine. Yeah. Sorry. They made a point of saying during the game that they were going to release a statement about it after the game, and then that was the statement. I mean, what kind of trash is that? You know, we've said it before on this show. If you guys have watched, you know, we got some new people in here, but we've said it before. Like, dude, the big problem is there's no transparency in this, right? I mean, there's just none of that. Hey, like, this is exactly what happened. That we believe this was the right call or not the right call. They're very like black box about it. And I mean, they released that, threw that out there to, you know, the internet, like, this guy shit's gonna get it, right? I mean, like, and it definitely was just, I mean, not well received.
Yeah, and the fact that they said, well, it's because someone even pushed back on them and was like, well, yeah, but the whistle was before the play was over. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and they go, well, that's not reviewable by video. Why isn't that reviewable? All the things to have reviewable, you can
all scoring plays were reviewable.
I mean, we've all got eyes and ears that works, fellas. Like, I don't get it.
But it's a scoring play, right? It should have been reviewed. Should have been reviewed. Should have been called dead ball.
But whether the whistle was blown or not can't be reviewed. You can review whether it was a catch. you can review whether he got a speed inbounds, and you can review everything else except for that one thing, which I don't how that's not in the book is reviewable. To me is just that's NFL rules.
Or we talked about it before. Like, how do the refs in the booth not like correct it? You know what I mean? Buzz down, be like, hey, you missed this one. Gotta redo it. You know, like it just.
Right.
Yeah,
I guess they would say they can't use video either. Would be their excuse. I don't know. Maybe they can't use video. Maybe they have the same rules and tools that the officials on the field have. I will say Adam Schefter did come out after that game and reported that officiating crew, Jerome,
they're not going to be doing another game.
Yeah, they're not expected to officiate any more postseason games this year. So maybe that's a step in the right direction. Maybe that is some half-ass apology or admission of guilt without actually admitting it. And got Paul in the comments here.
You do it, Bo.
Canceled you out.
You shouldn't have to review with the ref, right? Yeah, agreed.
But I mean, like, it grinds my gears. Quote Peter Griffin, right? That like they have all these tools at their disposal and they just won't use them because, like, I don't know, they're afraid that it might take an extra second longer instead of getting the right call. They're worried about it taking a little bit longer. I don't know. Just it seems like they could just use some of these tools in addition to what they have. But the fact that there's nothing that they could do just seems a little ridiculous.
Well, what's hilarious is they say it's because of speed of gameplay, but then Scott and I were sitting there, and man, when you're at the game, especially during the playoffs, you realize how long those freaking TV timeouts are between stuff. I mean, dude, you're sitting there forever. It's like, well, if you guys want to speed up the gameplay, you can shorten those commercial breaks. Well, that's how we get paid, so we're not going to do that. But we'll let it totally ruin the product on the field for the sake of saying that we want the games to be faster,
Like how the commentators tried to act like they didn't hear the whistle, right? And then I don't know if you noticed on the very first replay when they knew that there was a little controversy, they delayed the whistle, and then like every replay after that first replay, the whistle kept getting back further, a little closer to when Joe Burrow was stepping out of bounds.
Right. Hey, I'd like to know if we got real fans in here still. It looks like we got Paul in here. We got Doug. Cowboys suck. How are you feeling? You feeling confident about the Chiefs? Or you guys, you think we're winning? You think it's a toss-up, a 50-50 game? I don't know if I confident anything, but I'm assuming you're all Chiefs fans because you're watching Chiefs Kingdom live. But I don't know that they're going to say that they think they're going to lose. But like, what's your confidence level? Shoot us like a smiling or a sick emoji, or give us you think Chiefs got an 80% chance, 90% chance. You think Chiefs win maybe by what the score is. Like to know what everybody in the chat here thinks about the game. You guys want to do predictions on this one, or are we going to – there's games Saturday. I don't know that I'll have time to do a predictions episode Saturday or not. There we go. Cowboys suck. I think Chiefs win by more than 10. I like that. I can see that. 14, 13, something like that. Mahomie the GOAT in here, 140% chance. There you go.
That was me. I put that.
I know that's you. I wasn't gonna.
It's one of our Chief Kingdom live burner accounts right there.
I wasn't gonna give up your burner account, but you did that yourself. So
you gave it up on your other show, so that's all good.
I know Paul's probably worried about the game. If I know Paul, so. Like to know what Doug and Elaine, anybody in there are thinking about the game. I feel good about it. I really do.
I do. I'm not not overly confident, but I do feel like
I'm not going to be. I won't be surprised if the Chiefs lose.
Right.
Won't be surprised. They could lose. It'd be disappointing. I'll be disappointed, obviously, not just because I'm a fan of theirs, but I think they're the better team, and I think they should win. Not like the Steelers fans last week, right? They shouldn't have been disappointed with their loss. They should have figured that was going to happen. So
we're just happy to be here.
We're like the 20-point underdogs. We're just going to go out and have fun.
It's like the Bart Simpson gif where he's got the cake and it says, "At least you tried," and walks over and throws it in the trash can. Right? Yeah, that's
Bills
funny.
fans
Cowboys
commented
sucks.
on a lot of Chiefs players' Twitters today. Like that's gonna scare them.
Yeah. There was some crazy shit going on Twitter with Bills Mafia and Chiefs Kingdom this week too. Like chicks talk about, I kind of want to punch Mahomes' baby, and like there was people talking about they're going to try and sneak sweet potatoes into the game, and Josh Allen's girlfriend is way better looking than Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend, and like
Love
people
it.
on his family, the whole Jackson Mahomes. I want to say Chiefs Nick or Cowboy Nick or Nick or whatever his name is. If you are around Chiefs Twitter, you probably know who he is. He's got a bunch of followers. He was like, I'm so going to put together a GoFundMe to get a Jackson Mahomes dancing on the billboard in Buffalo if the Chiefs win this game. I was like, bro,
Oh man, yeah.
send me
I'll
that link.
pitch towards that.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got $50 on that. Like, dude, hit me up. I'd be down with that. Them Holmes brother thing's annoying. I don't think he's a very good dancer, but it's pretty innocent, pretty harmless.
Well, you know why the Bills logo is a buffalo, right?
Why?
So shout out to the women of Buffalo, New York.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's what the Bills are. I remember it was like the old jokes. What does Bills stand for? Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. And what's the area code for Buffalo? 044, 044. Like, that was some shit back in the 90s. Like, how do you go to 4 Super Bowls and not even win one? I guess their kicker cost them one, but Josh Allen's girlfriend dated 2 other NFL players. So I'm gonna stay quiet. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what are they? There's a nickname for right. There's a nickname for girls that do that. It's like Jersey Chaser or Jersey Hopper or something. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to getting out there to the game. And Chiefs are, they're the final 4 of the AFC again. Winning playoff games, having playoff games at home. We'd love to see obviously we'd love to see the Bengals win and the Chiefs win and get, complete the revenge tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the way to another Super Bowl.
You guys have any predictions for this game?
Nick?
Mahomes has 4 or more touchdown passes. That's my prediction.
All right.
I could see that.
You got a score? The score prediction?
I'm going to go Chiefs 36, Bills 28.
36-28, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I can see that. It looks like we got Elaine in the comments. When you guys want to bring her up. I hope we get off to a quick start. It helps with the anxiety level. I'm confident. Always back my team. Yeah, that's the anxiety level for sure. Maybe double up on your blood pressure medicine before the game this Sunday. Not really. Don't do that if your doctor doesn't advise you to do it. I'm not a medical doctor. Probably shouldn't get medical advice on this show. But
just randomly prescribing blood thinners over the internet,
huh? Yeah.
Chiefs Kingdom Live does not support the comments made by Scott Rogers.
Right. What do you think, Bo? Any bold predictions? How you think you see the game going? Score?
I don't think it'll be quite the shootout we saw from both teams this week. I think both defenses are going to step up and like kind of frustrate both offenses. I kind of like Nick's range in the 30s, but I'd go a little bit lower. I'd probably say like 31-28, a little bit closer of a game.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a shootout. Yeah, but like I said, if we start Jerick McKinnon and we have an actual run game, then I can see us kind of taking over this game and actually putting up some numbers. But I think it's going to be close. What about you, Scotty?
Yeah, sorry I had to hop off here. I'm dealing with a little bit of a scratchy throat tonight. Yeah, I probably go Chiefs. I don't know, what's maybe like 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals or something like that. So what is that, like 30-27, somewhere in there? I think 30-24. I think Chiefs win by about 6-10, somewhere in there. Cowboys. So if you watch Bills, they really can't run the ball. Yeah, their running backs are Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. Nothing to write
it's
home
live
about
by the
that.
Josh Allen, die by the Josh Allen, right? He's their quarterback, he's their running back. I mean, it's just really about containing that guy and getting him off his mark on his throws, which
half of their runs are designed runs for Josh Allen. So, yeah, they admittedly can't run the ball.
Yeah, the Vegas line, Chiefs 1.5. It started out as, I want to say, 3.
Yeah.
Which means people are trying to get people to bet on the Bills, which is a good thing. That means some of the people are betting on the Chiefs. They like that 3 points. Yeah, I just see it being a Chiefs. What was the score of that AFC Championship game last year? Because that game really wasn't that close.
Yeah, 38-24.
Yeah, I want to say the Bills jumped out to like a 9 or 10-0 lead, and then it was all Chiefs after that. They boat raced them. And Josh Allen was throwing the ball at guys on the ground and taking 15-yard sacks.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going 30-23, 7-point win.
All right. Prop bet. Who scores first? Which player scores first?
Man, the way the Chiefs start playoff games, like you'd almost have to bet it'd be one of the Bills. Like I don't know what it is about slow starts in the playoffs for those guys, but they do.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm gonna say the Bills field goal kicker. What's his name? Bass.
All right.
I think he kicks a field goal because I think the Chiefs will probably, if they win the toss, they'll defer.
Right. They
I
typically
think Bills get the ball first, maybe get down, get in field goal range. So I'm gonna go Bills kick field goal to take 3-0 lead.
Nick, prop bet. Who do you got scoring first?
Travis Kelce.
That's a good. I mean, it's a solid bet.
I'm going to say Byron Pingle off the kickoff.
Starts off close as always, but Chiefs for the win. Yep.
There you go, Paul.
Way to go, PJ.
Got Paul in here. PJ. I was thinking that was Paul Sr. on there, but glad to have you in, PJ. Glad you could join the show, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for some comments in. If it wasn't going to be at the game, I'd say we need to get together and watch the game. Although I'm not having any more Chiefs watch parties in my house this year, so had an 0-2 record. So let's go ahead and we'll wait till next year to have some more of those. But yeah, you guys want to pick these other games in here at the end, or?
Yeah, there's only like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, there's not very many games.
Yeah, let's see. I had a banner of them.
Other AFC game is the Titans, Bengals. We talked about that. Bo, what do you think about that game?
I got the Titans destroying the Bengals. Let's put it 34-17.
Going big on the Titans. No rust, huh?
No. You mean you might probably see some rust from out of Derrick Henry, given that he hasn't played in 7 or 8 weeks or whatever it is. But look, that team, dude, they're clicking. They're doing fine. I mean, like I said, just getting him back is only going to help their chances. I'm not a big believer in the Bengals. I haven't. Like I said, if the refs aren't playing, yeah, Tennessee should just run right over them.
Nick?
I'm going to pick the Bengals here in the upset, 28-24. I mean, I know that they're getting Derrick Henry back. That's kind of a question mark because he hasn't played. Is he going to be fresh or is he going to be rusty, right? How limited is he going to be? And the Titans struggled against the Texans, to close out the season to get the 1 seed. They needed help from the refs in that game, really, to make that a reality with a free touchdown at the end there. So I'm going to go, and maybe it's just me hoping that we can end up with the 4th consecutive AFC championship at Arrowhead. But
that would be nice.
How I'm feeling, and I'd like to play the Bengals again too. So like another shot.
Yeah, I think Tennessee probably wins, I don't know, 27-23, 27-24, something like that.
Close game.
I could see the Bengals winning for sure. Maybe the Chiefs' luck continues. Maybe they get another AFC Championship game at home.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. The NFC
how far
games
the drive is to Nashville from Kansas City.
It's like 9 hours, something like that.
Can't be that long, or it's probably a little bit longer than that, right? Anyway,
I don't know.
The NFC games we got the Rams at Tampa Bay. How are you feeling about that game? What do you think's gonna win out that one, Nick?
Hard to pick against Tom Brady in the postseason. It's in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tampa 31-27.
You bet against Brady last week in the postseason.
How'd that work out?
I'm making some ground on you guys, by the way, last week.
How'd that work out for me?
I know. Damn it, you guys learning from your mistakes. I too am going to go with Tampa. It's just that team looks difficult to beat. Plain and simple, right? Like they got all the weapons that you could ever want. Evans looks like he's just on fire right now. Yeah, I'll take Tampa Bay smoking the Rams 34-21.
Who you got, Scott?
Sorry, I lost a little bit of internet connection there for a second or something, and now you guys' volume is like super low, so I have a hard time hearing. But I'm gonna take the Rams over the Bucks. I didn't think the Eagles' defense was putting it on Tampa Bay there. I mean, if Jalen Hurts could have done anything in that game and quit turning it over, that would have been more of a game than it was. That wasn't as lopsided as that score would suggest. They were getting to Brady. They looks like maybe that offensive line. I want to say Vita Vea and the other guy, what's his name, on the line for the Bucks, was going in and out with injuries. They were sacking Brady. I want to say there was like 3 straight drives where they sacked him on third down.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts had some of the worst interceptions that I've ever seen. Guys dropping passes. I think Aaron Donald and that Rams defense could be a problem for a depleted Bucks offensive line. They don't have Brown. They don't have a Godwin. The Rams look pretty good against the Cardinals too, I thought. So maybe the Cardinals were a little bit of fool's gold. We talked about that. I picked them to beat the Cardinals, and Cardinals had a hot start and then fell off at the end of the year. So, but yeah, I like the Rams. I'm going to pick the Rams to win. I'd say probably, I don't know, I think it'd probably be a similar score. I think maybe somewhere 27, 28, 20, 28, 21, maybe 28, 20. Rams.
All right. And then the last game, San Francisco at Green Bay. Scott, why don't you go ahead and start us off on that one?
San Fran, Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pick against Aaron Rodgers, can you?
You can. It's probably not a wise.
You can. I mean, do whatever you want, man. It's one way to
nobody's stopping you.
Yeah, the Cowboys, they spit the bit in that game. They didn't do anything for 3 quarters and then had a chance to come down and tie it and win. I'm just not sold on the 49ers. I'm really not. Jimmy G, he's okay, but Green Bay's defense has been salty. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be hungry to get back to a Super Bowl, especially the last 2 seasons where they've ended disappointingly. He's been on fire. I think you're going to, he's league MVP. So I think the Packers win that game. I'm going to say 34-24.
Man, our show's popular tonight.
We got Kevin Stefanski and John Dorsey on the show.
We are.
I would have already signed Matthew before the season started, unlike the other guy. That's a whole other subject right there with Honey Badger in his age. But yeah, John, anytime you want to come on the show, you're welcome to hit us up. Send me a DM on Twitter or on Insta. Hit Bo up on there, and we'd be happy to get you on and talk about these games, these playoffs. So
We
yeah,
can talk about that Jeremy Maclin contract, how that all fell apart.
Right. Yeah, I got Green Bay. I'm going to say Green Bay 31, 49ers 17.
Okay. Yeah, man. After their last showing, San Francisco just kind of proved that they're willing to just let Green Bay win at any cost. How do you give somebody the ball with 40 seconds left and no times out and lose? Yeah, Green Bay just. I mean, they're going to the Super Bowl. Unless some fluke thing happens, like we've seen it this year where fluke turnovers do happen, but. No, Green Bay is just too solid. They've got too many weapons. They're getting that offensive lineman Bakhtiari back. Like they're just getting better and better and better in the playoffs. So, yeah, Green Bay by a lot to a little. Let's go 34-14.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the sweep here. I'm picking Green Bay. The 49ers did not impress from what I saw from that game. Scott, you talked about awful interceptions out of Jalen Hurts. That pick that Jimmy G threw was terrible, especially given the situation there. I mean, just overthrew the guy. I mean, horribly. So I don't think the 49ers have it. I know that they beat Green Bay in the postseason a couple of years ago in their Super Bowl run that they went on there, but they don't have the juice this year. I'm going to pick Green Bay to win 38-20.
You got John back in here. About Maclin, I admit my mistakes. Andy wanted him. I gave him the money. Then he kept getting hurt. I cut my losses.
Over text message, or was it voicemail?
Yeah. Maybe don't tell him he's released by text message. But
I understand, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Maybe a star-studded episode of Chiefs Kingdom Live here.
Right?
NFL head coaches and general managers in the hizzy. It's awesome. Yeah. What are the picks looking like right now? I think you might have made a game up or something like that, Bo.
What? Oh, the
season.
Yeah. I was telling you, your camera cut away. I made up a couple games last week. Where's the paper at? Let's see. This is. Yeah. This is it. So, Scott, you're still in the lead. You're going to be at 38-21. I'm going to be at 36-23, and Nick's going to be 34-25. So I passed Nick. I'm coming for you, dude.
I had a real shit week of picks.
Yeah, we got Paul back in the comments here. What do you guys think about the possibility of Chiefs versus Packers Super Bowl? That'd be
strong
sick.
Possibility.
Yeah,
that'd be sick. A rematch of Super Bowl I.
State Farm Bowl.
The State Farm Bowl, whatever you want to call it. The Rodgers rate versus the Patrick Price. Kind of got robbed of that game last year. Aaron Rodgers.
I honestly would like to see that game more than any of the other matchups you could, kind of mix and play with everybody that's left. Like, I'd rather see the Chiefs and the Packers and Super Bowl. Obviously, the Chiefs.
That's the two best quarterbacks, right? I mean, talent-wise.
Yeah, I think it definitively answer like who would the best team be in football, right? Whereas like some teams sneak into that game. It's not necessarily the case, but
yeah, I mean, I'd take it right now because that means the Chiefs win the next two games. So
the only thing that would be better is if we could play and beat the 49ers again. That way we could just talk massive shit to the Shant Club people for another like 5 years about that. Be like, oh, remember when we beat you like a second time in the Super Bowl? But trolling aside, Scott, I don't know how much of that you caught. I said that it'd be great if we could beat the 49ers again just so we could troll your buddies at the Shant Club for another couple of years. But
oh, yeah, no, I'd take that.
But
what are they saying? Do they think the 49ers are going to beat Green Bay? Are they realistic? And they're
I haven't really talked to them. I'll be on Shant Club on Saturday.
Yeah.
If y'all are watching, you ain't got nothing going on, 8:30 Saturday morning, go head on over to YouTube, Shant Club NFL show. I'll be representing Chiefs Kingdom. They got actually Joe Valerio is going to be on there with us.
Oh, cool.
Saturday. Going to have some reinforcements from Chiefs Kingdom
Poaching our guests, huh?
on the show. So,
I wasn't going to say it.
what's that?
So they're poaching our guests, huh?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, they're interested in the Joe Montana connection with Joe, and catching the touchdowns and blocking for Joe, obviously a former 49er. But so yeah, I don't know. I picked before the season Chiefs Rams in the Super Bowl. And I don't know why I think it's going to happen. So I just think the Rams, like, if they play their best, like, their defense is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But Matthew Stafford he's kind of disappointed me. He started off, MVP candidate and kind of fallen off. But they dominated the Cardinals in that game. I mean, they crushed them. There was no contest. Got John here. Keep up the great work, my guys. My wife's a longtime Chiefs fan. I'm always rooting for the red and gold. Great. Yeah. Hey, no problem, John. Appreciate the kind words, the compliments. You're welcome to come on anytime in your sweater and talk about football with us. So we'd love to have you. So you guys both picked Green Bay then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know, anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here? Or?
No,
I think I'm good.
Let's go kick the shit out of the Bills this weekend. Let's go Chiefs.
Yeah, I'd like a nice, comfortable win, and I guess I expect them to win around a touchdown, give or take 2 or 3 points. So we appreciate everybody that watched, everybody that commented, everybody that jumped on.
That was fun, man.
Fun. Cowboys suck, real fans, John Dorsey, Kevin Stefanski, PJ, Doug, and Lane. It's a lot of fun. It makes it so it makes it a lot more fun when we have people commenting. And no joke, if you're still watching Cowboys suck, you haven't commented in a while, but I got you at the game, man. Me and that guy can hang out, it sounds like. So we really appreciate it.
Arrowhead burger from Lot N.
Yeah.
Right, Lot in. Yeah, that's usually it. We'll send a tweet out letting everybody know. So, but yeah, just been a lot of fun. Chiefs, another playoff win. We got another chance here to add to the legacy of Patrick Mahomes Sunday at Arrowhead. Chance to play in the 4th straight AFC Championship game in his 4th year as a starter. Going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. Look forward to seeing everybody there. If you haven't already, click like or subscribe. Do that for us. Helps out a ton. It's not hard. Doesn't cost nothing. So we'd really, really appreciate that. Check us out on our social media accounts, Chiefs Kingdom Live on Twitter, Insta, Facebook. And looks like we got PJ's. Yeah, that's it. That's how we finish the show for sure. So thanks again, everybody. Hop in, jump in, and let's go Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs.